Senator Tommy Tuberville was at the Dothan Rotary Club this morning, and of course, we couldn't let him leave the Wiregrass without talking to him a little bit more. He joins us right now in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a great day, beautiful weather, and I saw a lot of crops coming down here from Auburn. A lot of good crops by the farmers.
Hey, that's always a good thing,
Yeah.
right? So let's get into the funding that you have brought to the Wiregrass. It's been a lot. You brought $7 million to a support center at Fort Rucker, $8 million for the Wiregrass Public Safety Center in Dothan. Talk to us about the importance of that funding.
Well, I've been involved in that safety center that they built 4 or 5 years ago when I was actually even running for this Senate position. They've done a good job there. They train a lot of people. We need more and more men and women in blue, and they need to be trained well. We've got them this last tranche of money for an auditorium to build. And then, of course, I'm really concerned about our own base family living. And a lot of our bases, especially Rucker, Fort Benning, our homes have gotten old, and we're redoing a lot of those. And so in the last two budgets, really, for the military, we've gotten a lot of money, to help redo a lot of the family living on base.
Gotcha. And you were just talking about the crops that were coming in. We know agriculture is a big thing here in Alabama, especially here in Dothan. So can you talk to us about maybe some struggles that farmers go through and why we should all kind of be on board to help them out?
Well, first of all, our farmers are in trouble because they haven't had a very good year in the last few years. And they have to borrow money, a lot of money either from the government or from just banks here in Dothan. And, when they've had to pay the input cost, the cost of being a farmer, the last 4, 5, 6 years, the price of diesel, the price of equipment, the price of seeds, the price of everything has gone up. And unfortunately, commodity prices have gone down. And so they've been losing money. We need a good year. We need a good harvest. We need good crops. Hopefully commodity prices are up there. President Trump has put tariffs on a lot of countries. Hopefully that helps our farmers. And, I'm really concerned because, in the last 4 years, we've lost 150,000 farms in the United States, 150,000. Farmers have the highest suicide rate right now of committing suicide because farmers are proud, and when they owe money and they can't pay their bills, unfortunately, they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So we got to help them. And in this last bill that we finished up in July, the big, beautiful bill, we've got reference prices, which means that they're going to get a better price from the federal government if the prices go down. And we're getting better insurance, crop insurance. But the one thing that we have to do for our farmers is what we call a farm bill. And it's done every 5 years. We're a year behind. We've got to be able to pass a farm bill that will really enhance all farmers across this country, because we don't want to outsource our farming to other countries. We can't do that. We have to grow our own food.
And we love our farmers here and around the
Right.
country. I want to switch gears to a bill that you introduced, the Student Visa Integrity Act, right? Advanced students from adversarial nations. What does a bill like that mean to Troy University, right? They boast a high enrollment with Chinese students. So do you think it'll have any effect on them?
Yeah, it's going to have an effect, but here's the deal. What's happening across the country, and not just Auburn or Alabama or Troy or South Alabama, we're having a huge influx of adversarial students from Iran, from China, from Russia that are coming here getting educations and going home. The problem we're having, maybe not at some schools, but we are leaving out American students and taking foreign students. We can't do that. We can't educate people that are going to take the knowledge that we've given them back to their own country, and some of those being countries that are not very friendly to the United States. So I want to limit the amount of foreign students that can come here. I want to enhance more students from the state of Alabama or other states to go to our state universities and to get a good education. Again, I don't want our universities to be about a business. There should be about education. Don't worry about the big money that a lot of these other countries are sending in and donating to universities. That's not going to help us in the long run. What's going to help us in the long run is educating our own students here in this country to be smarter, brighter, build businesses, and do things that make our country stronger, not other countries.
Got you. And before we go, we know football season, it is coming up. And of course, we want to know your pick for the Southeastern Conference champions. What do you think?
Well, if you want to take the smart pick, you look at Texas, because now the NIL, you don't recruit a team, you buy a team. You invest your money. Texas spent $40 million on this team coming up. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, which it is. Auburn and Alabama both spent about $15 million each on their team. So if you want to put apples to apples, it's not there. Texas should be the team to beat. Now, they still got to go practice, they got to coach them, and they got to play. And they got to play for, 14, 15 weeks to win a national championship. I'm hoping that Auburn and Alabama have much better records than they had last year. I think they will, but I want to get away from this NIL as much as we possibly can. Now, I'm for players making money, but I'm not for transferring every year. I mean, it's becoming ridiculous because they're not getting degrees. You know, if you transfer, you've been a student before, if you transfer, you lose a lot of those hours that you've consumed that don't transfer to another school. And a lot of these young men and women are just making money, and they're not getting a degree when they finish up 5 or 6 years at these universities. So let's get back to education. Again, let them make the money, but let's go to a school, have a little bit of a collaboration with the other athletes on the team. Let the fans really know who you are. I'm going to go to an Alabama and Auburn game, and I'm going to look at the roster, and I'm not going to know half the team that's there. It's going to be all transfers.
So lastly, before we go, is there anything else that you want to tell our viewers, anybody in the Wiregrass, anything that you want to let them know?
Well, you got a great situation here. You know, we're getting ready to, obviously got a lot of ag, but we're getting ready to get into AI in the next 10, 15, 20 years. We need to bring a lot of that here. There's going to be a lot of military influx from the Golden Dome that President Trump wants to build. A lot of that will come to the Wiregrass area. We have a lot in Troy. We have a lot in Huntsville, but there's enough room for everybody here in the state. We're moving education back to the states out of Washington, D.C. As you well know, I'm running for governor, and the election is not for another year and a half, but I will, my next year and a half is going to be about federal government, about helping the people of Alabama from the federal government side, and then hopefully we'll have a plan when I become governor in, a year and a half, and then we can come in and tackle infrastructure, education, bringing in more manufacturing, workforce development, do all those things that we need to do to make our state competitive, because all these other states are going to do that. So we got to be competitive. Like we're on the football field, we got to do the same thing as a state, because Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Mississippi all around us, they're SEC schools, but they're also going to be trying to get those same manufacturing jobs and plants to come to their states. So that's one of the reasons I'm running for governor.
So you have very big plans. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.